I actually sat down tonight with a totally different video in mind. I was going to walk through how I use my master schedule AI agent to prioritize my next week, give me an overall review, and do pattern recognition to see how I can advance. But it is 11:10 p.m. and I don't have time to kind of go through that video the way I want to. Instead, I just want to walk through what's been going on in my mind, especially because I told myself that I would post a video every single week, and I got 50 minutes left at 49. And sometimes you have to just find a way to show up imperfectly, and so that's what I'm doing. And one reason I started documenting on YouTube is just for me to be able to see where my headspace is at and just document live. I can look back on this years later and be like, maybe that was smart, maybe it wasn't, but at least I get to have my own little video journal, which is pretty cool. And so I'm going to walk through some lessons I learned this week, because I do feel like this week was a big one for me. Very reflective. I had a lot of time to sit with myself, and so I just got to learn a lot and reflect. And yeah, the big thing with my master schedule AI agent is some of the patterns I was recognizing that I do have the time, but sometimes my energy was down bad. There's been times where I had a long day at work, tons of meetings, tons of presenting, trying to figure things out. And you're stuck in traffic, there's accidents, and I'm trying to drive, and as I'm driving, I'm getting a little sleepy, getting tired. And then I get home and my whole calendar was hey, you're supposed to work 3 hours on the business tonight. I'm I just don't have it in me. And so a big lesson is still energy is just as important, if not more important than time. And so I was being more careful about how I spent my energy. I kind of treat energy now like a budget. So if anyone knows me, I love finances and budgeting, and I know exactly where I'm spending my money. And then same thing when I start dieting or anything, I treat that like a budget. And it's okay, you have this many calories you have for the day and this many calories you can spend for the week. And so you spend them wisely. And so then I started realizing to do the same thing with energy, because energy it's not as easy to calculate, because you don't know what's going to drain you or what's going to fill you up. It's always really hard to tell. And so for me, I just notice little things let's say something is really bothering me. Sometimes I get more critical when I'm stressed and I have a lot of things going on outside of my control. I tend to hyperfixate on things because it makes me feel I'm stable, or there's something that's within my realm of controlling or certainty per se. And so then I realized sometimes, okay, it's 11 p.m., you're tired, you have all this uncertainty going around you. Do you really want to spend time playing these situations in your head, or do you want to let it go and say, hey, you can solve it tomorrow? And then most of the times tomorrow comes and I'm have a way clearer head, and I'm just wow, I'm glad I didn't waste 2 hours replaying a certain situation in my head that wasn't really going to do anything for me. And so I think that's just a very valuable thing I learned this week, and it really helped me regulate my emotions. And I did have more energy to go build things and grow my business. And honestly, learning the difference was just really, really impactful for me. It allows you to make decisions more intentionally. And so learning the difference of how I'm going to respond if I'm tired, should I push through? It's you really do have to be a little more flexible. And And then another big lesson I learned, which I think this is the one I'm very, very excited about. And honestly, hype, thrilled, because I was thinking about my life and what I wanted. And I was walking my dog and I felt the breeze. I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm man, when I talk about my consulting job, I know that if I put in work, I will be phenomenal at it. There's no uncertainty in that. And same thing with basketball. If I practice, then I will be great. And that's in my head. You put in the reps, then you're good. That's do one thing and then another thing. Now, when I think about it, I was there's probably people that have spent a lot of time in basketball and just never ended up being good. Or people that spend a lot of time at work and just never ended up really being exceptional. But in my head, the certainty comes from if you put in enough work, you will be great. And I realized the one thing I didn't have that mindset was in my business. I was well, you could put in all this time, but it may or may not work out. And I noticed that was affecting my behavior, because my identity there's not that guarantee. And so I was why do something when I don't know if I will get the outcome? And so now I've been moving differently. If I do this, this will happen. Now, I don't know when it will happen, but I know if I work on this long enough, knowing me and my track record, it will be great at some point. And so kind of changing that, I realized it's really hard to work in uncertainty. It's easy for me to do my job because I know I have a paycheck coming. It's a little harder to do that with a business where you don't know when you high risk, high reward. And so that was just something that was big for me because it made it feel more certain and my behavior started changing instantly. And so when I did my AI scheduler and I have like this accountability and pattern recognition to kind of help me better succeed, it actually got to the point where I was like, I've said I want to do this business, and for 3 weeks I did absolutely nothing. Something must change, or I must say I don't want it. That's how I kind of felt. And so I really made some dramatic changes. Like this was the first week where I hit 10 hours, which is why I'm probably at 11 at night struggling to get this video done. But I'm very proud in the fact that I buckled down and did what I said I was going to do. And I guess that brings me into, lesson 3 this week was definitely about keeping my word. And with the business, that was the thing that was getting dropped. And that doesn't mean I wasn't working hard, because I'm working crazy hours. I'm having a social life. I'm working out. I'm still showing up for my dog and family and all these things. And so I had been doing a ton. That was the thing that kind of dropped. Even recording a video every week and publishing it. I've been doing that for 6 weeks straight. I said I was going to do it, and then I started doing it, and here we are. And so with the business, it just seemed like that was the thing that fell off. And so I think my AI scheduler was like, you're just really not good. You're really great at keeping commitments that are external to other people, but you're really not good at keeping the commitments that you made for yourself, your internal commitments. And it stung and it frustrated me where I got angry with myself because why is it that I can keep my word with other people, but I'm not showing up for myself? And it got to the point where it was just unacceptable for me. And I did what I needed to do to keep my word. And so I put those 10 hours in because I know that when I don't keep my word with myself, I'm just chipping away at my trust. The same way as if someone told me, hey, I'm going to do this and they don't do it. Hey, I'm going to do this and they don't do it. And they did that over and over and over again. There's not going to be much trust there. And I realized for myself, I have to show up with that same feeling. And so yesterday, it was Saturday. I had just went out with some friends, did a little shopping, and I didn't feel like working. I wanted to take a shower and watch a movie. But I was like, no, you're going to work because you said you wanted this. Show up for yourself. And keeping my word, a big lesson. It's not always easy to do, especially because no one's really watching. You don't have to worry, but now it's in me. It's important. And so I was able to hit my property mob time goal, get things done, and really show up for myself and just keep my word. And I felt good after. It felt good to do that. And I ended up working, I think, 4.5, 5 hours yesterday. And so I got my time in. I'm happy with my progress. And so that's kind of wrapping up the lessons with imperfect consistency. This video is kind of the perfect example of it. I was planning on doing a scheduler video where I actually walk you through my master schedule AI agent. I need to give it a better name. But helping have that accountability with these AI agents, I'm pretty excited about how I've been training them for different tasks and roles so that they can support my success and my growth. And so a big thing is just showing up consistently and showing up imperfectly. Because yesterday I had a choice, work on YouTube and record and publish, or work on the business that I said I was going to do and it was going to be a priority. And so I put a ton of time on that. I had less time for this. And that is 100% okay. Today I went and grabbed coffee. I went on a house tour. I got my hair done, a wash and go. Took a nap, hung out with my dog. I had a really relaxing, restorative Sunday. And so now it's before my get a video done every week. And so I'm here publishing, making it happen. And it would have been so easy to just skip this post or be like, well, I didn't really get to create the video that I wanted to, or that I had been kind of working on and planning on. But I'm here and I'm publishing because I'm choosing to show up consistently and I'm choosing to show up imperfectly because it's still better than disappearing until everything's perfect and ready. And that's what life is all about. It's not about having perfect weeks. It's about stacking enough good weeks and good habits together until it becomes the normal. And so posting every week is becoming normal to me. And so I'm excited, obviously, for next week. I'll definitely have more of these videos kind of walking you through my AS scheduler and then also showing you what I've done with Property Mob, which I'm extremely excited about because, man, I stepped it up this week 4 of the experiment. So I'm excited to kind of be able to walk you through those. But yeah, ultimately, I talk a lot about mentality and mindset at this point in life because you can have like the best AI agent, you can have a business, you can have real estate investments, you can have the good job, but if you don't learn how to manage time and energy and priorities and trusting yourself and how to show up, all the other things come second to kind of getting right with yourself internally. And so yeah, I encourage you to just keep showing up for yourself, treat your word with yourself just as important as you treat it with your family or your relatives or your boss or your coworkers. And as always, I'm rooting for you. I believe in you. Go live life intentionally.